Hey y'all, happy Monday. I hope that y'all are safe and warm. Yeah, your girl is in the house today. There's no working outside the house today. So I was like, let me get to work inside the house today. How are y'all doing? I hope y'all are safe. I'm not sure how many inches Maryland got, but I know it was snowing hard continuously. Now I'm looking out the window and it's enough for me to still see the snow. Y'all, I thought, oh, well, if it's cleared up by the afternoon, I'm gonna go out and make some money. For those of y'all that don't know, I do gig work. So I'm always like, and yeah, won't be going out today. The hubby said it may not be cleared up tomorrow. I was like, now, sir. Then I thought, if I'm doing this, hopefully this is gonna be bringing me, setting me up in a place where I could do this full time. So I'm putting in the work. So happy Monday, y'all. There's a couple of things that I wanted to come and talk to y'all about. One story I've been wanting to talk to y'all about since this particular interview happened. But there was some other stuff I talked to y'all about first. So now I want to get into it with y'all. By the way, I just finished The Real Housewives of Potomac. I will be recording that today, and that will be going out mañana. I have some things to say. All right. So first thing, let's get into Sharrell Rosado. So for those of y'all that don't know, Sharrell Rosado was on a show, Netflix, Selling Tampa. I liked it. I know people said it started off slow. For me, so did Selling Sunset. I feel like they weren't given a fair chance. It was an all black cast. And it was about Sharrell owns a brokerage firm. So she was a broker. And people were complaining about them, blase, blase, blase. And they didn't even get a second season to even see uh how they could do, because I felt like the show started to pick up in the end. So I was really disappointed about that. Well, if you don't know who Sharrell Rosado is, she was the fiance of Chad OchoCinco. OchoCinco wanted me I don't even know why I give it an accent when I say it, but every single time, whether I'm coming across him on social media, whether I see him on ESPN or with Shannon Sharp, I always think of that line. OchoCinco wanted me when she's that oh my gosh, I can't think of her name. I know y'all are yelling it from Basketball Wives. Oh my gosh, she said to Evelyn, Ocho Cinco wanted me because we know that Evelyn used to be married to Ocho Cinco, had some DV issues, cheating issues, and they got a divorce. What was her name, y'all? I cannot think of her name. Your favorite athlete's favorite athlete. Anyway, y'all are probably yelling it to me, but y'all know who she is if y'all watch Basketball Wives. But she was talking to Evelyn, again, Ocho Cinco's ex, and was like, Ocho Cinco wanted me. And that just kind of threw Evelyn. When I tell you, not kind of, it took Evelyn to a different space, into a spiral. So every time I see Ocho Cinco or talk about him, I think of that line. Back to Sharrell Rosado. She was engaged to him, had a baby by him, and they built Selling Tampa around her. It's been canceled. She just did an interview with Carlos King. Just a couple of things I picked up from the interview. I mean, the interview was okay. I really, really wanted to learn more about her background. She was in the military, and I think she held a position in the military. Then she came out, started her brokerage firm. Like, she had went through a lot. Like, she had a child when she was younger, and I wanted to hear about that and her success. And I was disappointed because I felt like Carlos focused more on the Chad of it all. And like, I know her, y'all see my heart on my sleeve, wearing my heart on my sleeve. But I feel like Carlos focused more on the Chad of it all, her getting back together with Chad, this, that. And I was like really disappointed because I wanted to know more about Sharrell, and yes, get into the breakup and ask the questions that may not have been answered when she announced that they broke up. But it was just more like, oh, I want you to get back with him. Would you consider getting back with him if this, if that? And I was like, I really like that part of it. But there's just a couple of key points that I wanted to talk to y'all about with the interview. And then Chad responded back. So she was with someone when she met Chad. She responded to his story with heart eyes. She said she was upset with her boyfriend, with the boyfriend that she was with. She was upset with him, and she alluded to there have been, I guess, some cheating and stuff on his end and what have you, and she was sick of it. So Chad posted something. She responded with hard eyes. He hit her right back. She ended up cheating on her then boyfriend with Chad. She said she confessed to the boyfriend, broke it off with Chad, and the boyfriend proposed to her. She said yes, but his behavior continued, I guess, the cheating and all of that. So she eventually broke up with the boyfriend in the top of the year. And then I think either the middle or like towards the last quarter of the year, maybe a little bit before, and into the second half of the second quarter of the year, she reached back out to Chad. He threw her a birthday party, and that was their like coming out. Like I think the shade room or somebody reposted. So again, she was with somebody. He was dogging her per her what she said, her story. She commented on Chad's story with her eyes. He reached out. She had an affair with him or cheated on her uh, ex, who was her current boyfriend at the time with Chad, admitted it to her ex, broke it off. The ex proposed, but he still kept doing what he was doing. She broke it off with the ex. Months later, she ends up with Chad. Now, when Sharrell first came out and announced that her and Chad broke up, she was like, Chad's single, good luck, ladies, blah, 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 blah. Somebody responded, well, I'm going to slide into his DMs. And she said, good luck, hope you don't catch anything. And then we heard that she saw him in bed, I guess, with a woman on footage from cameras in the house. She said that's not true. If that was the case, she wouldn't be sitting in front of Carlos right then because she would have been arrested. So she said that is not true. She had a feeling. She went through his phone. She saw women, messages, all that kind of stuff. She said that she was crying and all that. She can't say everything that she did. I don't know if it was some illegal stuff. Did she fight him? I don't know. She said she couldn't say everything that she did, but she was crying and he was crying because he knew he was losing his family. I think it's interesting when it dawns on the man. I'm not going to say mistakes can happen. People make wrong choices. And I do believe people can realize I've made the wrong choice and I'll never do it again. I do believe that people can change if they want to. That's the thing. So for him to be crying because he's losing his family, if you cheated on everyone you've ever been with, and then now you're cheating like, well, on the fourth or fifth one, it's like, when? Because they all meant something to you at some point, right? So I don't know. Maybe he thought she would stay or just not find out. I don't know. Carlos. Oh, and she said that they're both in counseling separately. And she did say if they end up together in the future, okay. I guess Carlos was thinking about the next question, which happens during interviews. I interview people, so I know sometimes you want to stay in the moment. You also want to make sure you get to the next question, but also they may say something to you in that moment that triggers another question. So I get it. But she had said if later on down the line they get back together, that was fine. But then Carlos then turned around and asked her, would she be open to getting back together? And she said yes, if they both heal. This was interesting though. Carlos said, let's have a real conversation. And I have to admit, y'all, I get annoyed when he says that sometimes now because it's like, isn't that what we're having, a real conversation? And I think now that's a thing for him. Like he would say it even in his YouTubes and all that. And I guess now it's a thing for him to say, but I know someone that interviewed him before and she was like, he says, let's have a real conversation. But when they interviewed him, they had a list of what they could and couldn't ask. So I guess they could only have a real conversations about the things that he okayed, which, hey, it is what it is. But what he said to her was, let's have a real conversation. You cheated on your ex, with Chad, and your ex forgave you. Basically, your ex proposed. Why can't you forgive and move past and move forward with Chad? I was kind of like with that question, I mean, I guess maybe it is a valid question. And I think maybe I just took like a to it because it felt like the whole interview was about him getting her back together with Chad, her and Chad's relationship. I don't know. Anybody else who watched it, you let me know. Maybe that's just the feeling that I got. But she said she's not opposed to it, but they both need to heal, not just from things that happened to them as adults, but both need to heal from childhood traumas, and then they can move forward. She says that the kids cried when they broke up, her kids and his kids. His kids still reach out to her. They still check on the child that she had with Chad because that's their sibling as well. She started crying when Carlos asked her if it was hard co-parenting with him, and she was saying no because he's a wonderful father, and I guess she just misses being with him. She said Carlos brought up one time Chad was on the show with Shannon Sharpe and talked about how Sharrell went to this party or went out with some girl with friends or what have you. She had been drinking, so she was like, when I get home, I'm gonna do X, Y, and Z to you. And then you came home and went to sleep. And she said, well, the truth was he was asleep or acting like he was asleep when she got home. So she was like, good, I don't got to do no work then. And she went to bed. So Carlos was basically like, so you're a beautiful woman, you have this going for you, you have that, if sex wasn't the issue. And she said, well, sex was sometimes the issue. She said they got real busy, like their lives both took off at the same time. Chad and all his opportunities, her and her opportunities, and they stopped dating. They used to before make sure they spent time together, didn't put sex on the back burner, but it happened. So Carlos was like, Chad, I want to talk to you as your big little brother, if that makes sense. You needed to have a conversation. And he was saying basically Chad should have had a conversation with Sharrell. Like, if things don't change, this is going to happen. Sharrell said, well, he actually did have a conversation with her. He told her, like, look, you need to make time for me. We need to make time for each other, or I'm going to go out there and get it from someone else. I said, well, okay. I don't know. Anyway, she said that Carlos had also asked her if Chad was seeing anybody. And child, let me tell you, Miss Sharrell put out a warning, honey. She said, ladies, if he is, he only wants one thing from you. He don't want nothing serious with you. Because basically he still wants to come home. And Carlos was like, well, that might be just what the ladies want too. They may just want a piece of Chad. And she was like, well, women were more emotional. So basically they may be looking for a connection, and that ain't happening. I agree with Carlos. Yeah, there are some women that just want Chad to hit it and want to see what it's like and move on. But she was very much letting y'all know, letting y'all 304s know. Look, you can slide into his DMs all you want, but he don't really want you like that. She then said he has his friends reaching out to her. He wants his family back. She said when she ignores him, he's like, I'm gonna get my family back. I'm gonna do whatever I can. It's like, why do we have to play games at this point? But that's how it works with him, I guess. So when she ignores him, he reaches out. She said he has his friends like ASAP Rocky reach out. And she was like, if I can see Rihanna, sure, we can all get together, go out to dinner. So ASAP Rocky has reached out, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, and Uncle Shannon. She said Shannon is very good at listening. Shannon should really be a counselor. He holds them both accountable for their actions. So basically, to me, this interview was to let us know they're going to get back together. Simple as that. Hopefully they are really in counseling each and get into them to whatever it is about themselves that they need to heal and move forward, but they're going to be back together. Chad had a response. Let's talk about what Chad said. Hold on, y'all, because I want y'all to see it. I want y'all. Look, let me do the right thing. Let me make sure my sound is right before I get to sharing my screen. Yep, see? And y'all can't hear nothing. All right. Let's talk about it.
Chocolate. It's not any kind of. It's Willy Wonka chocolate. She left. She left this. Thank you, mom. You know, she left me. She left me when I'm in my season too. You hear me? We go.
She left you when you in your season?
I'm in my season. You know,
Man, don't. You ain't got, man, listen.
She left me I'm in my. Why are you breaking with that beautiful girl? Have you seen me? Look at me. Like, huh? She left this. Look at this. This is me. Look at this. The fucking chocolate. The Diva chocolate. This not any kind of. This is Willy Wonka chocolate. She left this. Thank you, mom. You know, she left me. She left me when I'm in my season too. You hear me? We go.
She left you when you in your season?
I'm in my season. No,
Man, don't. You ain't got, man, listen.
she left me when I'm in my. Why are you breaking with that beautiful girl?
So clearly, y'all heard what he said. Somebody asked him why you break up with that beautiful girl. He said she left me, and she left me when I'm in my season. Look at me. Then he said, Godiva chocolate. I said, well, you had the diva part right. Godiva chocolate. Diva. He ain't no diva. And that's another thing. When he was saying, look at me. So on the interview with Carlos was like, Chad is top 5, one of the most beautiful men in the world. And she was like, yeah, he is beautiful. So it's like, they're going to get back together. But him not even saying, she left me, I did some things I shouldn't have done. I'm fighting for my family. She left me. Look at me. I'm in my prime. I'm in my season. Sir, some of the comments, somebody said he thinks he's the prize. Somebody else said this is what Evelyn was talking about. Somebody else said these retired NFL and NBA athletes really think they the prize. Bro, you got 22 kids and you washed up. You fumbled a gym because you can't keep your zipper zipped up. These men think they heaven sent. Somebody said, if, and I'll do it again, was a person. Shaking my head. Chad not trying to have a family. Ciao. Somebody else said, he's handsome, yes, but without the money, he would just be another regular ninja with good looks. With looks. Anyway, if y'all watched the interview with Sharrell, y'all let me know what y'all thought. Again, the impression I got was basically, I'm here to let y'all know he want his family back, and basically I'm going to be back with him, but I need to give it some public time. Oh, she said she shouldn't have acted out on social media. She shouldn't have came to social media and announced their breakup, but she was hurt and she was angry. And she wished she hadn't have done that. Yeah, because then you would have been able to get back together with him in peace without people looking at you crazy. For her sake, for his sake, I hope they do what's best for their children, for them. Children deserve whole, healthy parents, mentally, physically, spiritually, financially, all of that. So, y'all, anyway. All right. I want to get into a little bit before we get into Bravo, let's get into this. Weeks ago, we talked about Remy and Papoose. Whatever. Well, I don't know why. I can see that. I got a reason. And I look too good to be. Anyway, let's get into Remy and Easy, the guy that she's with now. So remember back before when they had a battle rap and the guy was rapping about Remy messing with Easy and da-da-da-da-da-da, and Remy didn't say nothing. And people were like, Remy ain't saying nothing. She normally would have said something, blah, 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 blah. Well, now Easy is in another battle. Let's get into it.
Ticket, we don't fear the bros, cause he ain't the only rapper that know your tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios.
Okay, wait, it's already start over, y'all.
All that alphabetical slaughter shit, but what happens when she stopped that E? I'm only going.
This is Easy.
Let's do it. I'm only going to dress this shit one time. Since y'all want to be on the front lines. Hey, yo, Remy, don't you love me? Yeah. See, right there, that's the punchline. That's the punchline.
Y'all hear her holler, yes?
You two belong with each other. Because you that one goofball that used to tell in the trenches. And it's crazy, around the same time you was throwing your card, Easy had you out here canceling Christmas. And then you tried to show us a 10-second video of you opening up some gifts. Then 10 seconds later, you went right to Easy house to open up your lips. Remy, open up your lips. Remy Ma, your man's a clown who lie about grams and pounds. This your family now? Imagine me losing to a side named Anthony Brown. Hey Anthony. Hey Anthony. You something like Mello, and you know the scenarios. Remy been in La La Land the whole time. We don't hear the hoes. Pat got your ticket. We don't fear the bros. Cause he ain't the only rapper that know your tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios. All that alphabetical slaughter.
So Easy yells out, basically, I'm only going to address this one time. Remy, do you love me? She yells out, yes. The guy comes up and is like, Remy, you showed us a 10-second video opening up gifts only to be back at Easy's house 10 seconds later. Because remember, during that back and forth with Papoose and Remy, Papoose was like, you wasn't even here on Christmas Day opening up gifts with our daughter. Then she posted a video of her there on Christmas opening up gifts with their daughter, last year opening up gifts with their daughter. And Papoose had posted a picture, this picture right here on screen of them on Christmas. So the dude is saying, you posted a 10-second video of you being home, but then you go right back to E's house, opening up your lips. I said, child, look, 10 seconds later, you went right to Easy house to open up your lips, baby. And now he's also saying that other rappers know what she tastes like. Do y'all think y'all be built for battle rap? See, and that's why I used to always say in my former life, I was a rapper, I was an MC, whatever. Don't judge me. I couldn't be it because I know that you have to go to the gutter and below to the bowels. And I know that I could get there, but I don't want to be there. And there wouldn't be a back and forth for me, meaning I could get there sometimes and then I could ease back. It would, if I'm there, I'm there. You see what I'm saying? So I wouldn't be able to like jump back and forth. That's another reason why I talk about not doing Housewives, because if somebody came for me and called my daughters, like allegedly Mia did with Giselle, I'm going scorched earth. And I don't want to be that person. He's not always going to be proud of me, I know, but I do want Jesus to be proud of me. And I'm sure whoever y'all believe in and, you know, whatever, or when you're trying to aspire to be a better version of yourself, right? You hate to slip back. Sometimes we do. I know I do. But so like with battle rap, I don't think I could do it because I would find the things that I know would, I mean, because that's the point of it, right? You know, like, do y'all think y'all could do battle rap if y'all rap? Do y'all think y'all could do Housewives and maintain your cool? Because also we're on this side of the camera. So it's easy to watch and say what we would do, what we wouldn't do. Do y'all think y'all could do something like that? You know, remember when Tupac and Biggie, Lord, F your click and the chick you claim. Huh? Ooh. And then hit him up stuff. I don't think I could do it. Because I would end up finding myself in a position that I didn't want to be in because of my mouth. Shaw. Moving on. She said she loved Easy. You love me, Remy? Yes. Speaking of Housewives, moving on, let's get into Miss Meredith Marks. So Meredith Marks recently did an interview with Bryce Sanders of Entertainment TV, and she had some things that she wanted to talk about. So let's get into it. Bryce Sanders started out by addressing her being a bit disengaged when the season started. For her part, Meredith said it just sort of happened that way. She explained it was kind of how it shook out, you know. I wasn't intentionally sitting back in the beginning. I might have been off to a slower start because I'd had a breast reduction right before we started. Meredith also said she had a skin tightening procedure before filming began, which is another reason why she may have seemed less engaged with the ladies. The drama with Mary came up during the interview. Specifically, Bryce asked her if she was surprised by being kicked out of Mary's lunch. I was very much taken by surprise at Mary's lunch, and I didn't realize that she was so angry at me before that. It was surprising, you know, because there were more words. Obviously, we know snippets and moments, and she had quite a bit more to say to me prior to just the get out. Bryce then asked if she had a better understanding of Mary following learning about Robert Cosby Jr.'s struggle with addiction. She said, yeah, of course, it's a really important lesson for all of us to continually be reminded that we never really know exactly what other things are happening in someone's life. She went on, I had no idea, you know, so I wish I could have been more of a support. When asked if she blames Angie, I love the way she said Angie. Again, her and Mary kind of say it the same. When asked if she blames Angie for some of her issues, Meredith said, I don't know one way or the other. They did seem very comfortable in the car, kind of tearing into me together shortly thereafter. The discussions of Meredith and her husband renting then came up. According to Meredith, I probably pay more for my homes than any of them do, but that's okay. We don't need to go there. It's not a competition. She continued, yeah, it's creepy. It's like really creepy. Like, why are you so interested in my life? It's just like, who cares? Yeah, I take a winter ski rental. Seth and I sold our home when we thought we were getting a divorce. Now, that's interesting. We didn't know that. And we just never bought something else. Hmm. Is it also because you live in New York most of the time? She then said, I think it's convenient. I think it's easy. Oh, and I don't have to worry about it when I'm not there. I'm only there about half the time. So it's great. We have multiple homes that we travel between. It's a really nice life. Bryce then asked about her issues with Angie and where they came from. Meredith gave her side by saying, I can speculate. I don't really know. I would say the very large majority of issues are not me having a problem with her. They're her having a problem with me for things that I didn't do that she felt falsely accuses me of and runs with for 2 years at a time. Of course, fans will recall Angie bringing the infamous squirrel to the event in the first episode of the season, which had a list of all the things she felt Meredith had done to her. However, Meredith has a theory as to why Angie has issues. She thinks Angie never liked her. She said, I think Angie never liked me from before she even came on the show. The only thing I can honestly think of is that she feels like I stole her snowflake because I only live in Park City half the time and I didn't grow up there. I mean, well, yeah, if that were the case, I could see. I'm not saying it's right, but I could see why. Meredith continued, she wanted to be on the show from day one, and she wasn't. And I think maybe that upset her. Bryce mentioned Angie saying she cried after seeing she got the center snowflake. Meredith responded, so I guess it's really important to her. The topic of the fight between Angie and Brittany came up. Bryce asked if Meredith had seen it differently after watching it back. Specifically, he pointed out that Bronwyn Newport was the one who started the drama. She said, well, that's true. Yeah, that is true. Although at the time, she was just repeating other things. It's a complicated situation because the real issue goes back to the original comment of Angie saying to Brittany, you're doing three guys, when Brittany had only said she was dating people. Meredith then said, I find that personally to be very offensive because Seth and I separated and we dated other people. Very few people, and it doesn't mean I was sleeping with anybody. And these women ran around like I was some kind of child. Bryce also asked Meredith about the friendship that Mary, Bronwyn, Angie, and Whitney have and if she thinks it's real. She explained, I think that some of the friendships will pan out to be legitimate and some won't. I have a feeling some of those friendships will really gel and some may not. Bryce asked her where she stands with Lisa and if she still harbors ill feelings towards her. She said, basically, her and Lisa are in a new friendship. And then she compared where they stand with how she and her husband were able to fix things and begin anew. One asked who she trusts in the group. She said, Lisa is who I trust, and Heather is who I trust. And Mary, I trust. But we had a little faltering, so it's regrowing back. You'll see that Heather and I have a little falter too. So, okay, she still trusts Mary. They discussed Brittany recorded. So I guess it is Brittany that recorded the group. They discussed Brittany recording the group and why it was so offensive. Meredith explained, for starters, none of us agreed to be recorded by each other. We agreed to be recorded by Bravo and Shed Media, and that's a very different situation where they control that process than having someone else do it. So the only reason I could imagine someone recording within our group would be for something sinister to share with someone who should not be receiving it. What do y'all think about that? There's a lot of talk of, well, they're being, when women are upset that somebody in the group records them, people will say, what's the big deal? You're being recorded by the show. What do y'all think about that? Do y'all agree with what Meredith is saying? Like, hey, I know that these cameras are here. I'm not being secretly recorded by cameras. There is a point that cameras go down. And at that point, I don't expect my castmates to have their phones out secretly recording me. I think that's reasonable. I can understand that because then it's like, at what point am I not being recorded? And again, I know that these Bravo cameras are recording me, or these cameras for this show, but eventually they go down. I don't know if I don't want to be secretly recorded. Y'all let me know what y'all think though. As far as the reunion, she says there's a lot that unfolds. And yes, I'm not surprised it's 3 parts. I mean, it probably could have been a 4 part. We were there for a really long time. I think we really got to the bottom of a lot of issues, some more than others, but I think there will be some surprises who does take it accountability, who does apologize, and who doesn't. You know what? Truth comes out and it's going to be interesting. I'm not a reunion person. I've said that multiple times. Reunions make me like, because there's so much yelling, and then I feel like things don't get addressed because they can only show so much and they only have a certain time. And I don't like reunions. But I will say I'm interested in Salt Lake City reunion and seeing what's addressed. So y'all let me know what y'all think about Meredith's interview. Clearly, she's still wanting to build with Mary based on this interview. And this is after the reunion. And she said she trusts Lisa, she trusts Heather, and she trusts Mary. Even though her and Mary had a little faltering, her and Heather had a little faltering, she still trusts them. So we shall see. And let me know what y'all think about recording, being on a show, being recorded, and then cast members secretly recording you. Y'all let me know what y'all think about OchoCinco, Wanted Me, and him and Sharrell. And let me know if y'all watched that interview and tell me your thoughts. Y'all might not have watched it because it was like, oh, I saw it come up and I was like, I'm going to watch and see. And yeah, I was just a little disappointed because, again, I wanted to know more of Sharrell, not watching Carlos try to piece her and Chad back together. And this rap battle that Easy is in, child. You love me, Remy? Yes. That man said Remy tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios. At any rate, y'all, I love y'all. We'll talk to y'all later. I'm off to record my Potomac review. See ya.